Hello and welcome to season 4 of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. As always, I'm your host, Kelby Bachman, and please welcome the next guest on the show, Cody Walters. So Cody is from Macedonia, Ohio, and wrestled for Bedford St. He was a 3-time place winner, earning 7th and 3rd before capturing a state title as a senior. Cody journeyed about 3 hours south to compete at Ohio University and established himself as a Bobcat great. So Cody was a 3-time team captain, 3-time MAC champion, 4-time NCAA qualifier, and 2-time All-American. He amassed 30-plus wins in 3 of his 4 seasons and was twice named Ohio University Male Athlete of the Year. Cody began his coaching career as an assistant at Gardner-Webb before stops at West Virginia and Nordonia High School. Fittingly, he is now back at his alma mater as an assistant under his own head coach, Joel Greenlee. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy assistant coach Cody Walters. In the heart of West Union, Iowa, lies a hidden gem in Euphoria Coffee. Owned by local residents Nicole and Shane Havenstreit, they source everything they can from local vendors. From hot and iced drinks, to savory breakfast burritos, to baked goods, to botany tea, and even homemade waffles, Euphoria Coffee is a place your entire family can enjoy. You can find more information at drinkeuphoриacoffee2go.com or visit their Facebook page. And we also have a special gift just for you. Next time you stop in, you can get a free baked good with a $20 purchase. Just mention the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. Euphoria Coffee. Our purpose is deeper than coffee. What are you up to?
Not much, man. I actually just put we're doing Buffalo on Sunday, so I actually just emailed we're getting the guys Olive Garden order after the duel, so I just scheduled the catering order for delivery and all that stuff. So
Nice.
yeah, back in my day, it was just after the duel you go to Subway and get a sub. Now these guys get treated a little nicer.
I know you're pampering them though, but
I know
but you're the one that's doing it too, even
doing what I'm told.
Yeah. No, that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it is nice. These guys get good fuel and get kind of treated like I don't know, a little more special. Like it makes them feel a little better. You know what I'm saying? When you freaking get an Olive Garden order or something after, you know what I'm saying? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just like kind of the little things that make the world a difference, where it's just they just get treated a little more like when you hear other sports like football, for instance, and that's an easy target, but even like basketball, just some of the amenities that they have and they receive, it just makes you feel underappreciated. Like, well, I'm busting my ass to be the best I can be, and I'm not getting a third of, or a quarter of that. So even when you get a little bit of that taste, it feels good. It feels like you matter.
Train just as hard, if not harder, and I lost 40 pounds while doing it.
Yeah. Did you lose 40 pounds? Did you lose 40 pounds? Is that what you're hinting at?
Oh, like when I competed in college, I would always weigh about 205 and then drop to 74. Yeah. Well, because I got really obsessed with lifting. Like I thought it was so cool to put up big numbers.
Yeah.
And and me and a couple of my buddies were really into it, and so like we would put on size as much as we could. Like it was like a competition for us to see who could power clean or squat and blah blah. So I always got, like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't solid muscle I was putting on. I was putting some bad calories on too, but yeah, I get to like 205, 210, no same with a couple of my other buddies. They would get at like 30, 40 above too. Wow. Looking back, I probably should have tried to stay in like the mid 90s. It might have helped me a little more with that initial cut, because I know the first couple of weeks was always torture.
Yeah. Did you ever think about going up in weight then at all? Like at 84?
I went 84 for one thing, my redshirt sophomore year. Because like I said, I got really strong. I was cleaning like mid 300s. I was squatting a house. I was benching a house. Like, I was so strong, and I was like, why would I lose all this, to go? And so I wrestled off our returning national qualifier, and I pinned him, and I was like, all right, I'm doing this. I'm good.
Mhm.
And when I got to competing, like even making 84, which wasn't a lot compared to what 74 would have been, I felt like crap. I was like, wait, what? I still feel kind of weak. I still felt like I didn't feel good at like I thought it would. And
Mhm.
so I actually ended up getting a concussion, finished the match, and I was out for a while. And then after, I was like, I didn't like how I felt. Like, I felt slower. Like, I was stronger, but
Mhm.
I wasn't moving like I normally do, and like I didn't feel the same when I was out there. So Coach Greenlee and I decided, like, hey, I'm gonna go back to 74 when I came back. So I don't think I wrestled again until like mid December or early January. I can't
Mhm.
remember. And then yeah. So, and then senior year, I tried. Sparty wanted, like, Sparty Chino. He was a
Mhm.
four-time national qualifier for us, round of 12 guy. He wanted to bump up. Like, we all wanted to go up, and so we were trying to talk Phil Wellington into going. So Phil Wellington was a three-time MAC finalist. He always lost to Jaden Cox.
Mhm.
Um, we were trying to get, because he got huge. He got to like 230, 235. So we were trying to talk him to go on heavyweight, and I was going to go 97. And like, we were just trying to do this, but we ended up getting ixnayed on that. So I was like, we always talk about that from time to time. Like, that would have been funny. Because Phil was crazy. Like, he was so big, but he could get to 97 in one practice. Like, that kid could lose weight in a practice. And he was a horse, man. He was
Mhm.
ginormous. He was huge at 230, huge at 97. It didn't matter. He was huge.
Wow.
Yeah. He's a big boy.
And then where did was it Jeremy Johnson?
Jeremy Johnson was our heavyweight. He was a
Okay.
senior my redshirt sophomore year. He was a senior.
Okay. So when he graduated, that's when you guys all could have probably made, because he was what, a two-time qualifier?
Jeremy Johnson was a four-time qualifier, two-time
Four-time.
All-American, two-time MAC champ.
There you
He
go.
was actually just inducted into our Hall of Fame this past fall.
Wow.
And yeah, Jeremy is the head wrestling coach at Aurora High School. So
Mhm.
if you know who Dylan Fishback is, Tyler
Yeah.
Lillard, like that's theirs. He didn't coach them, but that's that same school. And he came over from Avon, where he was Jordan Greer, our heavyweights head coach.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just saw Lillard wrestle for Indiana.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lillard, he's a beast, man. He's doing really well. He's a tough
Hmm.
kid.
Yeah. And you are you from Bedford?
So my high school was Bedford St. Peter Chanel, which
Yeah.
was a private school. It's now a parking lot. They tore it down. It's no longer a school.
Oh,
But
really?
I'm from Macedonia, Ohio.
Oh, yes, Macedonia.
Yeah, Macedonia, and so Nordonia was like my public school. That's where
Okay.
my sister went and all that. But I started wrestling for Chanel since I was 6, and I just never wanted to leave it.
Yeah. So how'd you start wrestling for Chanel? Looks like the club?
Yeah, so we had the Firebird Youth Wrestling program. So I was in karate, and I think I was 5. But then my dad wrestled in high school, and he wanted to make, or I like we talked about wrestling, and I wanted to give it a shot. And so my dad actually called Jimmy Andrasi, who's the Kent State head wrestling coach. Him and my dad and my mom all went to high school together. So my dad called him and asked him, like, where should he get me started and all that stuff. And Jimmy told him to take him to Graham Coghill over at the Firebird Youth Wrestling program, and because they were a very powerhouse program. They were, they won state in every division 1, 2, and 3. At that time, they were D3, so a small school, but they were a powerhouse, like very good program, lots of great wrestlers. At that time they had like Anthony Ralph, who's the recruiting coordinator at Ohio State now. And they had Jay Jaggers was on the come up there. He was in the youth program, but everyone knew he was going to be good. Like, they had a lot of very good wrestlers. And so I went there and I met some of my best friends that are still my best friends to this day. And I never left.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Jimmy Andrade actually carved a path to me to go to Chanel.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how far of a drive was that for you at that point?
Not even like 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it was fairly close, and it was literally a loogie away from Bedford High School, which literally they stared at each other. They were directly across the street in Bedford. They had a lot of good athletes, but Halle Berry went there, so I was known for that.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, she's a Bedford girl.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Well, and then plus Chanel's football program was amazing too. So going to those games as a kid was really cool too.
Yeah.
So that was both sports I played. So I was like, wow, this is amazing.
Hmm.
It's kind of
And
like
that.
I was a Steelers fan when I was young, and so my heart's always with them, and now they just frustrate me. So
Did you take to wrestling right away? Did it take a while for you to enjoy it, or?
I loved it right away, but I was not like my first match. I got pinned by Tony Buca in like 12 seconds, I think. And he ended up. Have you ever heard of the Tournament of Champions?
Yeah.
So Tony won it that year. Tony was a beast. He wrestled for Maple Heights. He ended up going to Brecksville, but he yeah, he pinned me in like 12 seconds. It was so quick and fast. And my dad thought I was gonna hate it,
Yeah.
and I walked off the mat and I was like, man, when can I do that again? And he's like, well, you got another match, buddy. And then I ended up losing that one too. I kept locking hands in that one, I think. And then I think I went on. My dad says I went on like a 18 match win streak, and I just headlocked everyone. I just learned to headlock, and I just started whacking those out left and right. So I I was very so I played football and stuff too, but like I
Mhm.
wasn't. I was very plump. Like I was a very big, big kid. And
Mhm.
so like when I played football and all that, all the attention was on the quarterback or the running back and the everything. Like hey, you go block, do your
Mhm.
job. And I hated it, So like when wrestling, I love everyone's like, oh my God, you're so good. Or
Mhm.
man, you stunk it up out. Like, I loved how it was all on me. Like the cliche thing about wrestling, but that's true. I love that aspect of it. So it was fun.
Yeah. And when did you start to really take it in and take it seriously and become infatuated with the sport in a sense?
Man, it's hard to say like when I'm like, well, I was a diehard, but I mean like because I was diehard right away because like
Mhm.
as far as like I had these high school guys to look up to. Like so I had Anthony Ralph. He was a two-time state champ and he wrestled for Kent. I didn't know his college career at all, like growing up.
Right.
But I had Jay Jaggers, Mark Zoranic, Alan Delita, T. Terry. Like I just had all these studs
Oh
coming
my
up in their
gosh.
pro where I got to like really watch. And then like I said, and then Cameron Wade was like an older brother to me. He was a two-timer, went to Penn State. So I had all these guys I got to watch and practice, and they were like superheroes to me, like so like high school practice would end and like us youth kids would be like outside like the restroom room and like out would come Jay Jaggers and or Dustin Wright or Jim Stant, like just so many studs. And they were literally superheroes to us. So like we always wanted, like me, my buddies like Michael Kovac, Danny Orr, like we always just wanted to be that one day. So
Mhm.
like that was at a young age, I wanted to be like them. So I'd say it was pretty young. But when I started like really like thinking like, oh, I'm pretty solid wrestler was middle school. I was like, I'm
Mhm.
pretty solid. But I like wasn't flashy. I was always told I had heart,
Mhm.
because like I would be down big in all my matches, and come third period, I always come storming back. So like
Mhm.
I was always told I had heart. So I
Yeah.
loved hearing that about myself.
Yeah. Wow, that is quite the lineup of people to look up to and to watch walk out of the wrestling room. Like, holy cow.
Oh man, they're studs, man. They're Adam Kabbalah. He wrestled at Old Dominion. Ended up going medical out, but he was a national champ at Notre Dame. Like I said, Jaggers. Like just so many great people, and like not all of them like did stuff in college per se, but you know, like that's life. Not everyone goes on to be animals in college or whatever. But man, they were just great people too. Like great role models to the kids. Like just you know
Yeah.
great people to be around at a young age. Someone who kids that I would love for my kids to be around and look up to right now.
And those guys, like you said, yeah, maybe they didn't have like quite the accolades at the college level, but still going Division 1 in wrestling. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
cream of the crop. That's the best of
That's
the
what
best. I mean,
in any division, honestly, man. It
for
takes
sure.
a freaking special person to put this extra time in. Like, and that's like it's all of them. One, two, three. Like, obviously, one is just a yeah. It takes a lot out of you, and it's a different beast. But to make that kind of commitment in college and cut weight and do your schoolwork and have a social, like all that stuff is such a hard balance. So like, yeah, mad respect to anyone who takes on that challenge and not only does it but excels at it.
Yeah. So when did you start to really have some success in the sport besides the
Um,
18 in a row headlocks when you were younger?
I think I was so I started wrestling when I was 6.5. So I think when I was 8 or 9, I won Michigan Nationals, which was at the Pontiac Silverdome. I won that, and then I won TOC when I was 10. But like it was always when I was the oldest, and then like when I was the youngest, I would have that learning curve.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
but when I was in 6th grade, Mr. Jaggers, Jay Jaggers' father, and like I was heavyweight, always growing up. I was a heavyweight, and I was really short, and like he taught me legs, like to ride boots on top,
Mhm.
and that just was the game changer in my life. Like it really just it made me who I am to this day, who I was in college. He taught me legs in 6th grade, and I had a lot of learning curves with them. But I'd say like when I got really solid, like confident, like middle school, and then on the high school, like it really, I'm had all my accolades because of riding, being good on top. So
Mhm.
I'd say 6th grade learning legs was the game changer in my career.
That's a tough thing to learn. How did you stick with it for all those years through because there's got to come a point in time where like, okay, this isn't working out, I'm not getting it, you're just giving up points. Let's try to do something different where we're not putting ourselves in bad situations because it's when you're first learning, it's kind of difficult to grasp like not getting too high and getting reversed
Yeah.
and giving up. So what I guess my question is like what made you stick with it for so long to eventually learn to become a good leg rider?
Like I said, I was short and I was big, so I was slow. I was very slow, and I wasn't, I didn't have a great shot. My like offense on my feet was to grab the elbow it was like a wish.com version of DeSanto. Like I would grab the elbow as hard as I could, like literally go down to the mat. So I'd put him in a front lock and hopefully barrel roll him. Like that was
Mhm.
my offense. So when I got on top, I was like, this is my only shot. Like this is where I have to keep him because that's the only spot I felt neutralized where I had some power.
Mhm.
And so I'd say like I was like, you have to get good at this. And I stayed consistent. I did everything I could to stay on top. So I'd
Mhm.
say it was more of a, I had to be good at it more than I want to stick with it kind of thing.
You know, but at some point you have to develop some level of offense on your feet,
Mhm.
especially when you start to get to the high school level where you're trying to win a state title and try to become All-Americans at the college level. When did you finally find some success or confidence in anything on your feet as time went on?
I
And
always
how
had
did
like
that
a
develop,
shuck a shuck and a drag. And I had a barrel. Like I had those things. Definitely always, but there's actually one specific moment where I was wrestling in the district finals. So I was wrestling a kid named Bryson Hall, who's a stud from Doylestown, Chippewa, and we were in the finals. And he was just I remember him leading his right leg like really hard, and I was like, I wonder if I could get that thing like. And I shot a never in my life do I ever remember shooting a John Smith low single, but in that moment I shot a John Smith low, and it was sick. It like buckled his knee and everything, and I that became like my only offensive takedown for a long time. I was like, that was nasty. And so I'd say like then I started developing like that, and then that stuck with me. The shucks, the drags, and the low singles stuck with me forever. And then every now and again I get nuts and I throw like a knee pull single or something like that. But my go-tos were the low single, the drags, and the shucks.
Okay.
Like that's where I kind
Yeah.
of stuck with it.
As a freshman, did you have expectations going into the season? Because like you said, as your middle school and your younger career, when you were older, the older division or like the older kid in the division, you did well, but when you were younger, you kind of didn't have the same success. So like I'm wondering if that carried over into mentally into your high school career.
Yeah, so like my freshman year, I was at 152, and so I took fourth at junior high state. So
Okay.
I had some confidence with that. Going into at Chanel, and then like I said, it was kind of surreal for me being wearing that singlet finally for Chanel, being at these tournaments, and like I told you before, I was always a fighter. Like I wrestled in like one of the, I think it was the second tournament. I wrestled the returning state champion, and his name was David Stiltner from Waynedale. And he tried to beat the crap out of me, physically, emotionally,
Mhm.
everything. He was wrestling so hard, and he beat me solidly. Like I think he almost majored me or majored me. It was really close to a major, but I was in there, and I remember him getting frustrated, and I was like, man. I just remember thinking like confident. I was like, yeah, I'm frustrating. I'm doing something, and so like that stuck with me as far as like, hey, like you just gotta stay with it, stick with what you're good at, and big thing is slow these guys down. I had it, and because like I wasn't strong at all. Like everyone tells me I have this natural strength to me, but like lifting wise, I was weak and all that. So I had a lot of confidence, and then when we got to the district tournament, and I made it to the semis, and I had a kid named Jared Kessar. He ended up wrestling for Ohio State, and he ended up taking second to Jed Moore, who wrestled for Virginia. But he beat the crap out of me in the semis. Like I think he beat me by 14, and the match ended with him lifting me up, and thank God time ran out. But he just physically just dominated me, and then all my so in the blood round, I guess you could say, to go to state, all my friends my age were making it to state, and I was like, oh my goodness. And I had a kid who was ranked like sixth or seventh in the state to go, and I was like, my goodness. And I was so nervous, and I was like, I was
Mhm.
like, because I didn't have the best of thoughts because he was good, and like I said, I was like, man, all my friends are making it, and
Mhm.
like I said, I had that heart attitude, and I stuck with it, and I think I was down by four with short time left, and um, I hit a Peterson with like no time left for five, and I think I ended up winning by one to go. So, I mean, that's that attitude, like I said, always saved me, and that mindset of stay with it, stay consistent. You're in the fight, helped me get to there.
Well, then you end up finishing seventh, didn't you,
Yep.
that year? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Seventh.
dang.
Yeah. So that was cool. I had some good matches too at the state tournament. Like, uh, I had some heaters. Like, I don't think anyone. I think I lost by a point first round, and then to the kid ranked like fourth, and then I won, and then the heck, who the hell did I wrestle? I can't remember who I wrestled on the
Mhm.
backside, but I just had some wars, and I ended up battling for seventh, which was crazy. So that was fun. Um, and that kind of just led to my success. Like after that, like after you do something, it's no longer a goal. It's like, all right, now it's an expectation, that
Mhm.
and more. So like that helped me tremendously. And then I had a really good summer training with going to NHSCA's and doing that stuff. So.
Did you feel a sense of pressure a little bit from wearing that singlet? Seeing the guys before you, and now you're a freshman and you're putting on this Chanel singlet, that you've idolized people wearing it, and here you are as a freshman, like, oh my
It was
gosh.
actually at that young age, I didn't feel pressure. I was I wish I would have stayed like this in my mind because I ended up feeling pressure as I got older. But
Yeah,
it was more of an honor. It was
there
like
you
I was
go.
like, oh my God, I get to wear this. I get to not only wear it but start. And but like I said, like when you got guys like Jay Jaggers and Cameron Wade who got to wear the same exact singlet I'm wearing, like and like Anthony Ralph, it's like, oh my goodness, like what a cool what a cool thing I get to do. Like, I just hope
Mhm.
I don't embarrass them, like
Mhm.
I just want them to, when they talk about their high school, and I thought about this at a young age, like my freshman year, like I want Jay to be at Ohio State talking about, hey, you see my high school program? They're killing it.
Mhm.
Or like Cameron, like I always wish they were talking to Penn State coaches or Ohio State, like, hey, you got to see, like, and that's something I felt at a young age, which was cool.
Mhm.
So not pressure, but more of an honor at a young age.
Yeah. Um, well, going into your sophomore year, now, like you said, now there's an expectation to do well. You're a freshman, now you're a sophomore. You're coming in with a medal already.
Mhm.
Now, is that when the pressure started to build a little bit?
Yeah, that was that's it started to build a little bit, definitely, for sure, because, and I also had a good NHSCA. I took third at Virginia Beach, and I
Mhm.
lost to Nathaniel Brown in the semis. So he was
Lehigh guy, right?
at least I think a three-time American, but a national finalist, and he was a stud. And me and him had
Yeah.
a barn burner, and I just heard he was tough. Like, I didn't know rankings or anything at that point. I just heard that he was really good PA kid. So um I knew I could do well, and then after that, I being a three timer was all I talked and dreamed about, and that's, yeah. So I put way too much pressure on myself. My sophomore year, I'd say. So yeah, I definitely would. It in the beginning of the year was excitement, and then, like, as the end of the year started coming, I was like, holy, what if I don't win? What if you don't see my name three times on this wall? Like, it's, I put up way too much unnecessary pressure on myself to be something. The one, really, I wish I would have just had some more fun with it. You know.
Do you remember why or what changed? Because, like you said at the beginning of the year, things seemed, you were in a good headspace. But, like, do you recall? I know that's a long time ago and probably difficult to remember exactly,
Crazy
but
to think that's that long ago, but no, I don't know what specifically changed it. I think it's just something because I dreamed of doing it since I was 6 years old, since, like, watching guys accomplish those dreams and us cheering them on that stage. I wanted it so bad, and I'm like, I started thinking of oh my God, I don't want to lose in this moment, rather than I
wow.
can't wait to go win.
Mhm.
And that's something, my nerves held me back. Like, if you, like, I'm convinced if they would have had the practice or the state tournament or the nationals in the practice room, I'm a three-timer in both. Like, I'm
Mhm.
convinced, like, because, practice, I was a G. Like, I was offensive. I was, but my nerves was a bad had a bad effect on me, and in a way where it's like they would go away in a sense, but, like, it weighed me down. I could feel my feet heavy in those big moments sometimes.
Mhm. Yeah. But even taking all that into consideration, you still came away with third place as
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
sophomore. I
Yeah.
mean, you know,
I choked in the quarters.
okay, yeah, you can look at it that way, but then you rattle off what, 4 or 5 in a row to get
Yeah,
third,
yeah. Well,
like,
I apologize for this kid. I don't remember his name, but he's from Versailles. But and I did not care about that match. I didn't care. I didn't even want to wrestle in it. I was like, I came here to win it. I don't even care about this. Like, I don't even want to be here.
mhm.
And I was winning with short time left. And I just had that attitude the whole match. I was like, this is dumb. I should be in the finals. Like, what am I
Mhm.
even doing here? And this kid hit something. He got behind me with, like, short time left, like 8 seconds. And he was behind me, arms wrapped, everything. And I remember screaming in my head, I'm like, oh my God, I want to win. I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose. And it flipped a switch in me quick as heck. Like, and to where, like, after that match, and I think I pinned or almost tacked everyone all the way through third. So
Mhm.
that flipped the switch. I mean, like, I want to win. I'm here to win.
Mhm.
So, but yeah,
That's a tough mental battle,
that's a
especially,
tough one. That first one after a meaningful loss, it's hard. It
Mhm.
it for sure is hard, and it's something I had to do many times in my career after that. So
Mhm.
it's something you learn a lot about yourself in those matches.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, you didn't get ultimate goal, but I mean, do you look at that third place medal a little differently now that you're a little bit older?
Oh yeah,
The
it
fight.
goes it goes to show just like listen, like 'cause I that match back I was in the worst mindset. But I you got it done and you push through it and then because I know if I didn't place then, if I would have lost that match, I really would have been upset with myself and
Mm.
pretty much disgusted because I put all this work in just to let it go because I was having a little tantrum in my head because I didn't get what I wanted. Which you go there, you still can get something, you can still
Mhm.
accomplish something great, and there's plenty of people that would die to be in that position. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
like don't throw away something great because you want more. Like take what you can get, kind of thing.
Mhm. Now we get to I would say a tough part, another turning point in your career, your junior year.
Hmm.
Um, what I heard was you failed skin check.
Oh yeah.
And so did you even wrestle at state?
No, I did not. I woke up after districts and I remember having this all over my forehead. I had these I don't even know. They said it was herpes, but I was treated for staph. But I went to the emergency room. My dad and mom took me to the emergency room that day. They got a check. They're like, oh, it's staph or whatever. But so I got all these antibiotics right away. My weight shot up because I was on all this medication. So I was drinking liquids and all that stuff. And when we got to the state tournament, I was like 170 pounds. But but we thought we were going to be good. We met with some of the people the day before, and I had I had doctor's notes that it was dead. I was treated. Blah 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 blah. Everything was good, and so as far as we were told, I thought I was going to be good. So that night, I started cutting my weight, and there
Mhm.
was actually an article about me, and his name was Jake Howe. He was the returning state champ. He won my weight the year before. Um, I think he wrestled for Blancaster, but there was a cool article about him and I in the program about can Walters dethrone how, and so I just remember that motivating me to get my weight down. I was like, all right, so I got all the way down to 52, and
Jeez.
yeah, so I went to weigh-ins thinking I was good to go, and they're like, oh, because the person that saw me in the weigh-ins is the person I saw the day before, and they're like, oh yeah, we talked it over. We can't let you wrestle. And I was like, what? And they said it again, and I just remember dropping to my like a someone got shot in a movie, man. Like theatrics, I dropped and I couldn't breathe. I just started bawling my eyes out, and I ran out of the arena and just started bawling my eyes out, and because my team was predicted. I think we were predicted second at that time to Monroeville or CVCA. I can't remember because Monroeville had the Stevers, Chris Phillips, Cam Tassari. They had some
Yeah.
studs. They had a pretty sweet squad, and it was a really tight team race. And so when that happened to me, I knew that pretty much took our obviously my dreams out of it, which was horrible, and then it obviously took our team contention away too, which stunk.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, they said I was treated for staph, but it was herpes, so I was treated for the wrong thing. So they wouldn't let me wrestle. I think is what the synopsis was. That's what I was told after. I think
Mhm.
I remember just blacking out at that point.
Yeah. And there was no wrapping it or not like
Well, that's why, yeah, my dad tried to say, because my dad was my coach, and Larry Vance and Graham, and they were like, well, he'll wrap it. He'll fucking wear a mask. He'll do whatever he needs to do. And they're like, no, he's done. And, well, I'll say this because that was a horrible moment it's to this day one of the most traumatic wrestling things I ever experienced. But I will say this: if I told my dad, I was like, "Hey, if I win state, like I don't want to go to NHSCA," and he was like, "All right, that's fine, buddy." But because I didn't go to state, I was like, "I'm going to NHSCA," which that kind of led to me starting to get recruited. So in one sense, like, oh my God, that sucks. I'm not saying I wouldn't have been recruited regardless, but I know that definitely opened eyes because I ended up having one heck of a um, tournament.
Wow. Well, that actually leads me into something I was going to ask about, because at that point you were a two-time place winner, seventh and third. You didn't even compete your junior year. So I was wondering, where the recruiting process was at that point, and where you were mentally, because obviously you probably were at that point thinking like, I'm going to go wrestle in college. I don't know where yet, but that's what I'm going to do. And maybe you had D1 aspirations, and there's nobody calling and you're about to enter your senior year. There's a lot of anxiety at that time, you
Oh,
know.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So like I wrestled at the NHSCA's, and I never noticed my freshman year. I never noticed my sophomore year because I took third as a freshman at NHSCA's. Then I took seventh or eighth my sophomore year, and then my junior year. And I never noticed college coaches there. I
Yeah.
never paid attention to it. And even my junior year, I wasn't looking for it, but I happened to like start seeing just schools on everyone's polo. I was like, oh my God, are there college coaches here?
Hmm.
And like I remember thinking, I was like, oh my God, this is nuts. And I beat some pretty solid dudes, and then I made the semis against this kid from PA who I heard was really good. He won state and then took second. I heard he was ranked again. Like I had no idea about rankings. Like besides like in Ohio with the Brakeman report, there was a big thing. So I didn't know outside of that, and I ended up taking like low singled this kid off the whistle and ended up um um just kind of handling this kid. Like I think I blanked him like 8 or 10-0 or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but I remember like we'd go to bounce, and I remember like seeing like more and more college coaches like coming. I was like, oh, this is sick. Like that was such a cool feeling for me to see college coaches watching me. They could have just been standing there because they were tired. I don't know, but in my head I
Hmm.
was like, oh, eyes on me right now. And then I ended up making the finals, and to I actually had one of the biggest learning curves of my career, and I'd say even more than not passing skin check. Making the finals and losing was one of the biggest things learning lessons I ever had. Because I made the finals. I had the kid who I wrestled for seventh and eighth the year before in the finals, and um, I remember thinking, I was like, all right, because we had like 24 hours till we had to wrestle. We go to Max and Irma's, man. I put down like 50 breadsticks and like all and my dad was like, why are you eating so much? He was, because my dad was coaching me down there, and he was like, why are you eating so much? Like, well, I was like, Dad, I'm gonna be so big. Like this kid is not gonna have a chance. Like there's no way he's gonna. And I remember checking my weight. My dad was like, "Hey, they still had scales out." So, like an hour before the finals, my dad was like, "I want to see your weight." And I was like 175, and I weighed in at 52. But I think we got +4, so I was at 56. And my dad was like, "Son," like he was so mad at me. I was like, "Dad, I'm gonna be fine. Like I feel great. I'm full of energy. Like this kid's not gonna have a chance." And I beat the crap out of this kid for 2 periods. And then we got in this scramble at the end of the second. And I remember we go out of bounds. There's like 2 seconds left in the second, and I couldn't feel my arms anymore. I couldn't feel my legs. I was like huffing, and I couldn't catch my breath. And I'm in shape. Like that's one of my biggest things. I'm in shape. And me and my dad made eye contact, and he's like, "You fatty!" Like he's like, "I told you not to eat that." But I remember giving him a look like, "Oh no." And then I ended up losing. That kid got a takedown with like I couldn't he got like 2 or 3 in that third period, and I ended up losing. And my dad, that was a horrible car ride home. And I think when we got to my house, I think we passed our driveway a couple times. I was still getting a lesson about that. But the following year, when I made the state finals, I think I weighed in less on the third day than I did on the first day. I was like, oh heck no, I ain't doing that again.
Who do you remember who it was, or did you already say who it was?
Who I wrestled in the finals my junior at the NHSCA.
Yeah.
I know exactly who it is. I can see his face, but he wrestled for Virginia Tech and Virginia. I can't remember. Like Vinny something. I can't remember.
Okay.
But if I saw him, I know him. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
I could probably look him up real quick. I'll look him up real quick. I got a computer right here.
Dang. Well.
Yeah, so that was a big learning curve for me.
Yeah. But is that when doors started to really open then, and you were really
Well, yeah.
looking
So at that tournament, I saw Jeremy Johnson, and he was wrestling in it, and no, was that my sophomore year? I can't remember what year it was where I saw Jeremy Johnson. He was talking to Joel Greenlee. And I was like, oh my God, that's a ginormous human being. And that was my first time I ever saw Joel. I was like, oh my goodness, what a ginormous person. And that was the first time I ever saw Joel. But yeah, so leading into after that match, I started getting letters and all that stuff. But Jimmy Andrasi, like I told you in the beginning, he got my my dad to get me to go to Chanel. He took me to my first wrestling camp. Like, I've known Jimmy basically my whole life. So I wanted to go to Kent in the worst way possible.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the time I had a girlfriend who went to Kent. So I was like, this is perfect. It's a dream made in heaven. And but then I ended up getting letters from other schools. Nowhere big or anything like that. But like the Gardner-Webb, Elliot sent me a letter, called me. I think I got one from App, like schools like that. And then I got a letter from Kyle Hansen, who was the Ohio wrestling coach at the time. And my dad was like, hey buddy, let's go take a visit up at like go on a tour to Ohio U. And I was like, what's that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I had no idea what Ohio. I knew who Kent was. I knew who Ohio State was. Like, I didn't know what Ohio University was. I was like, are they D1? Like, I have no idea. And then so we ended up taking I was like, all right, we can go or whatever. And then when we pulled up to the university, and like not even being biased, like since I first saw this campus, Ohio University has one of the most beautiful campuses in the entire country. I'm convinced it's so the way it's laid out, it's so beautiful. Like they have the Hawken River that runs through it. They have all these cherry blossom trees that go down the river. Like it is a beautiful university and like everything's walking distance, like your furthest class. Like if I'm at the furthest part of the university and I got to get to the other, it's 15 minutes tops walking. So it's like, you never got to drive. You never got to worry about getting a parking spot. So like that is it was just truly a perfect layout where I was like, wow, this is really nice. And then, and my dad's a big man. My dad's, 6 foot, 300 pounds. And, he's the scariest person I ever met in my life. Literally, like I'm still petrified when he raises his voice an octave to me, so, but then I met Joel come walking out of the ramp, and Joel made my dad look like a baby. I'm like, what is this? Like, cause I remember seeing Joel, but I don't remember him being that big. And I was like, what the heck is this guy? And he was this ginormous person, but he was the coolest, sweetest, like he was just such a kind, funny man where I was like, caught me so off guard. And I was like, wow. And then I met Hanson. Hanson was more on the quiet side, but he had all these tattoos and I had tattoos and I was like, that dude's sweet. Like I thought that dude was so cool. I was like, man, and because he had 2 half leg sleeves. I was like, oh, this dude's the real deal. Like he doesn't have to say anything. And so I just had truly a great experience. And then I actually had a kid I looked up to. He was a senior in my 8th grade year, Darren Boeing. He was a stud at Chanel. He actually took 3rd, 4th, 5th, and then 7th in Ohio. And he went to Ohio. So I ended up just shadowing him around, and I've after I left there, I was like, wow, I really like that place. You know, it was a real deal for me. And like I had a lot of pride in being from Ohio. So like I thought if all the best kids in Ohio stayed in Ohio, like the Ohio States, the Ohio U's, the Kent States, Cleveland States, those would be just powerhouse programs, you know.
Mhm.
So I had a lot of pride with trying to stay in Ohio. But at that time, like I said, I wanted it to be Kent.
Did you visit Kent State?
Yeah, I went on a visit, and it just wasn't. I was treated like I trying to word it right. Like I was just some dude on camp. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't a big deal at all. Like I just like oh there's some kid. Let's show him around. Like it just was very nonchalant and it might have been a comfortability thing, but like one of the assistants didn't even know my name. He asked who I was, and I was like, "Oh, that's not nice." You know, so I just said that kind of stunk. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But so it definitely went down after that.
Mhm.
Like because I like impressions. You know what I'm saying? So
For sure. For
yeah.
sure. So when did you finally commit?
I committed. I think I can't remember the month or whatever, but it was before high school started,
Okay.
my senior year, because
Yeah.
I was like, you know, like I didn't want to worry about
Mhm.
what if I lose this match or what if I do this, what if I do that. Like I just wanted to commit and just put that off to the side, and it didn't seem like at the time that Kent really wanted me that bad or cared if I went there, and so I. And like I said, Joel was awesome. He was caring, and it sounded like he truly believed in me. So, yeah, I was like, it's a no brainer. Like I'm gonna go here. Someone that thinks I can be. And he told me he was like, I think you can win nationals. I was like, but I could. I don't know if he was full of it or not. But he like when he looked at me, I was like, oh man, like, all right, let's do it. So
Yeah, I like to ask that to see because I get varying answers. When people commit, some people like I've talked to people who commit in like April or May of after this season, their senior
yeah,
year. It's like,
we got some
and
guys
that's
on
just the
our
way they
team
like to
that
do.
committed after the state tournament. You know, it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Some people like to get it done and out of the way and not have to worry about it. And so, sounds like that was more so the
Yeah.
route. And you probably knew at that point, like it was also sounds like a done deal. Like, okay, I know where I'm going. Let's just solidify it and move on,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, it's like, you know, and every kid, like I had a dream of, you know, trying to go to like Ohio State or something too, but I wasn't Ohio State caliber. I don't think, you know, especially out of high school, you know, like I just thought like those were for like the Jay Jaggers. Like Jay was, Jay was up here and Cody's, you know, down here. Like seeing someone like that go on and be successful, I was like, oh man, I'm not there, you know. Jay, like seeing that guy was special, and then like you know I was so nervous about college wrestling because like you saw like knew how great Jay was. Jay didn't place as a freshman. He All American as a sophomore, won his junior senior year. But then I saw all these amazing wrestlers that I looked up to growing up from when I was 6 on, who was just starters, who only made it to nationals once, who never placed, and I was like, and I you know I had these kids on such a pedestal. I was like well, if they can't do it, how the heck am I going to do it?
Mhm.
Like, you know, like I don't think and then plus being at Chanel, we were Division 3. Like, you hear this your whole life.
Mm.
You're D3.
Mhm.
You're
Mhm.
D3. And so at some point in time, It took me a while to break, but I believed that. I was like, I can't do it. I'm Division III wrestler. Like, I'm not doing what these D1 dudes are doing. Like for whatever reason, I had those thoughts. So it took me a while to break them, but yeah, like those were my initial thoughts I always had pondering in my head when I first was going to college.
Did you and well, real quick before we get to college here,
David Wesley was that kid's name.
David Wesley?
Yeah, David Wesley.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was driving me nuts.
So he was the kid who you wrestled for 7th and 8th, and then who beat you at
Yep, at
Okay.
at NHSCO juniors. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, David Wesley.
All right. David Wesley. Cool. Your senior year, real quick, you won a state title. That was the year.
Yeah, and I almost didn't. I had a lot of barn burners.
You had to ride out to win.
Ride out to win and ride out to win my in the semis too. So that's when my senior year was the most uncalled for pressure. My junior year, I felt zero pressure. Like I was a G. So I wrestled David Habit 10 times growing up. He pinned. I don't think I ever got out of the first period with Dave Habit growing up. My junior year in the CIT finals, I beat Dave Habit. And I was like, oh my goodness. I just did the incredible. He was a returning state champ. He's Dave Habit, he was a great, already, so I was like, oh my goodness. And so I had this unbelievable belief in me. I can beat anyone. If I can beat Dave, I can beat anyone. There's no doubt. And so my senior year, it turned into, I have not won state yet. I planned on winning 3. Mm-hmm. What is going on? And I had all this uncalled for pressure that I put on myself and only myself to blame. I got to the point where I was throwing up before matches because I couldn't get my nerves under control. It was so bad. I remember when I was in the semis at state, I think I literally threw up for 15 minutes, dry even, couldn't catch my breath. I remember literally thinking, oh my God, I'm going to lose the entire semi. So I was like, I can't breathe. My legs were, every time we were in a tie and we were standing still, my legs were shaking. I couldn't shake it. When you start wrestling, whistle blows, it never went away. And the kid I had in the semis, we had wrestled 5 times. His name was Sean Prather from Waynedale. He was very good. He was a 3-time state placer. He had beat me on my birthday, my senior year. And in the Ohio duels. He beat me, and that's who I had in the semis. And so, my nerves were through the sky. I just couldn't catch it. And then we had a very close match, and ended up going into the first ride outs. So back then it was one's up, one's down, and then if it's still tied, it goes into whoever scored first in overtime. They pick what they want, and so my coach Gilmore told me to defer. So we deferred. He chose down. I rode him out, but I got hit. I got hit with a stalling call in the 3rd. And then as time expired, I got hit with stalling in that first overtime. Yeah. So literally I rode him out, but I got hit with stalling. And then I escaped. And then coming in that last overtime, he chose down and I rode him out. And so that's how I won in the semis. But after that, all that pressure, I felt if I had the energy I had after I won in that match, it might have been more separated, but I couldn't. Yeah, it was horrible. I remember that match stunk because I had just never gotten there, and I planned on getting in that final so many times.
Dang. And you talked about growing up how you were kind of maybe a huskier kid. You were lean and you looked a little tall in that senior year.
Yeah. So because I was 52, 60.
Yeah.
So I always weighed 200 pounds in football season. I'd cut to 52.
Jeez.
Yeah, I was always 200. Always 200, cutting down to 52 and then 60. And so, so I'd get pretty lean. And then, but yeah, so it was hard, freaking cut weight like a dummy. You know what I'm saying? So I had those times too where I felt like crap because of that. And but yeah, so once I made the finals, it was that was more of a relief because I had Xavier Dye, who was actually a buddy of mine, who I'm still very good friends with. I actually did a camp for him this summer, and we had wrestled like, I don't know, 5 times throughout our youth, middle school, state. Like, so we were very familiar with each other. So for some reason, I didn't feel much pressure then. I just didn't. There wasn't a lot of points scored, but
Yeah.
I felt fine in that match.
So speaking of you weighing 200 pounds, my question was going to ask, one of the things I was curious was how long it took you to fill out to 174 in college. But it sounds like it wasn't as difficult as it may have seemed because you weighed so much and cut so much weight.
I actually, when I got to campus on, because like Sparty Chino still talks about this story, so it's pretty funny. My first time I checked my weight in front of everyone, I was like 206 or something, like 203, 206, and I was supposed to be a 57, 65 pounder. So, and Sparty was like, "Who is this fat ass?" Like he said it like out. He was like, and Sparty was very fit, lean, like 6-pack, and like no matter what he weighed, he had it. You know what I'm saying? So and I did not look like that. I enjoyed my my summer too much, and so I was gonna go 65, and it was miserable. It was actually one of the hardest things I'd done. Like getting down to 65 was miserable, like tough, and plus I actually had a very hard time at first in college, like balancing school, balancing cutting weight, balancing morning runs, morning lifts, afternoon, to the point where I didn't think I wanted to wrestle anymore. I was like, I can't do this. Like, and then that self doubt started coming. You were a D3 kid. Then I started thinking like of all the greats that didn't place or didn't accomplish their goals. I'm like, man, like, why would I even waste my time doing this? I can't do this. And so I had this period. It was like a month and a half where I was like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. I think this is way out of my league for whatever reason. I was always very tough. My dad was a Marine. My mom was tough on me. Like they always pushed me to be the best. And and then I'm like many kids, man. When I left college, I told them, I was like, get rid of my room, man. I ain't never coming back here. Like I'm never visiting. I think I came to visit week 2 or 3. I was visiting like every weekend. I was very like homesick, and I was only 3 hours away, so I was going through all these emotions for the first time, and it took me a second to balance them. And then actually, it was these back-to-back moments. So like we had this run where we were running this AAA hill with all these different items, so like bricks, cinder blocks, tires, like, and everyone was gone except for me and Joel. I'm still like trying to finish these runs, and I remember I was dead dogging and all of the above, and Joel was like, "Man, Cody, I thought you were gonna be something," and he walked away, and I was like, "Yeah." I just remember started crying, and I finished my run, and I just remember crying like when I got back, and then we went out that night for a get together, and I remember just seeing all these kids like having fun, and I'm just down in the dumps, and for some reason, Sparty Chino came and sat next to me, and this kid is like, do you know who Sparty Chino is? Have you heard of him? He's the loudest, most confident person you ever meet in your life. Like that kid can speak and talk and do anything he wants. He'll speak his mind. He's a funny dude. He's like, "This is stupid, Walters. This is dumb. I don't want to be here anymore." And I was like, "Me neither, man." And he was like, because I was like having these moments like, man, I want to be great. Like, why? And he's like, I just want to train, man. I want to be the best like I can be. And I was like, I do too, man. Like, I do too. I don't want to waste my time here. Like, blah, blah. And we just had the most realest conversation, him and I. And I remember like I got back to the thing, and I was like, I need to flip it. I need to change, because I was like, I am good. I am tough. I can do this. And then I was always last in the runs, and I think that next run we ran the bike path in the morning at like 6 in the morning. So you start running, it's pitch black, and when you end your run, it's daytime.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was in the top 10, and after that I never looked back. So I went from having all these doubts, and like I'd be drilling with Harrison Hightower, and I would say like 47, 48, and he'd be like, "What's that?" I'm like, "That's how many times I thought about quitting today." Like, I went from that to I'm gonna be on all these walls. I'm like, it happened so fast, and once I made that switch, I never looked back.
Wow. Just like that, huh?
It was crazy. It was just wasn't a contemplating thing. It was one night, one stare conversation, one embarrassing run where I was like, no, this ain't gonna happen. I'm not doing this.
Wow.
Well, and then also I was very weak, and so like we had a morning run. So 2 days later, Greenlee decided to put me with Nick Purdue for lifting.
Mm-hmm.
And Nick Purdue was an ox, because was strong as heck, and he put me with him. And I'm the weakest guy in the gym, and so he put me with him. And Nick would just be like, embarrass me. I remember the volleyball players would be lifting. He would like tell them, be like, "Hey, if you guys need a spotter, like he can." Like, he was always comparing my weights to theirs, and he would embarrass me to the point where I was like, "All right, I gotta get stronger now too." And so I'll give him the credit for. I was like, all right, I got to catch this dude and wait, or I'm going to get embarrassed for a long time. So it was a combination of those deals all together that really influenced the rest of my college career.
And you saw the results pretty much immediately.
Quick. You know, I had a few humbling experiences. Like, I couldn't make 65. I think I went 65 for 3 matches, and I went, and that's when I started lifting with Nick and all that stuff. And I was like, listen, like, I can't do this. I'm telling you, it's too hard. Blah blah blah. I need to go to 74. And he was like, okay. He's like, you gotta push yourself. Like, if you're going up, you're going up. And so the first tournament was scuffle, and like, so they allowed us to bring like 2 extra guys, you know, I think. And Joel was like, told me and Sparty, we're like, hey, you 2 are going. You're wrestling in it. And I was all excited. I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to go. And so my first tournament at 74 was scuffle. And then the brackets came out like that week, like that coming week. So before you got there. And I drew Ed Ruth first round. I was like, I don't want to go to this thing. I was like, the first match. I was like, are you kidding me? I was so upset. I was like, I'm not going. And I was like, so mad. And then Sparty drew Kyle Dake. I was like, we're not driving to Tennessee for this, man. This is ridiculous. Like, and but we got humbled first round, and then Sparty ended up throwing like 4 or 5 wins together in the backside. I went 0-2. But I wrestled a very good kid the first round constant. He was a solid kid. He got caught and pinned, I think. He was winning, and then I ended up losing him like by a point. And I was like, man, I was so mad and ticked off, but I felt good about it. I was like, you know, I just got to fix some things. You know, I think it was more of a I can fix it kind of thing.
Yeah, because you won 39 matches, I think, that year as a freshman.
No, that was my true freshman year.
Gotcha.
And then my redshirt freshman year, I ended up winning 30. I went 39 and 39 and 3 or 39 and 4.
Wow.
4. Yeah.
Wow.
So I made well, the key for me, man, was that was before this, you know, the 5 dates thing for freshmen.
Right.
So I went to every single open. That was all. I think I missed maybe one or two, and that's being generous. Like, I had like 40 plus matches. So like, I wrestled a whole college season my true freshman year. Whereas like the problem now is like some of these kids can only get so many matches in because they got to stick with the dates. Some tournaments don't allow, you know, like you to bring more than 15 guys, 10 guys, whatever it is. So that true freshman year, like I said, with the change in work ethic, with the getting all those matches where I wrestled a full season to where like my body wasn't shocked the next year, like what is this, dude? Like
Mhm.
no, like I hardened my body and I prepared to and then plus like we had these mock max um at the end of my freshman year, and I had Nick Purdue. Nick Purdue ended up, he was a 2 or 3 time national qualifier, but won max. Me and him had a nail biter in the mock max, and then he won max, and I was like, I can do this. Like there, and I have a whole nother year before I'm
Mhm.
actually at the max. Like I can be good. So,
Yeah. And you were good right away. I mean, it's not only, you won 39, you went 39-4 or whatever. You you were an All-American as a
yeah,
redshirt freshman
yeah,
and at arguably the toughest weight at
yeah. It was
nationals.
stacked.
Oh my
It
gosh.
was a stacked way. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I remember my first humbling experience, my redshirt fresh, because I was 18 or 20 and oh, I can't remember which one. But I started thinking I was like Kale. I was like, oh man, baby, I'm coming to my own here. And I had Matt Brown from Penn State in the quarters at Scuffle, and they made this huge announcement before we wrestled in the quarters, and that there's 2 undefeated wrestlers going at it, and I was like, I'm gonna beat this kid senseless. He has no idea what's coming to him. And off the whistle, he shot a low single, and he sprained my MCL like off the rip. And I like as soon as he got that takedown, I was like, I'm no Kale. I was like, oh god. so so that was actually the worst loss I ever had. He beat me by 6, and but like it was a humbling experience where I was like, all right, where I gotta work on this, that, like the physicality. I was like, I gotta get more physical in
Mhm.
wrestling. Like he was the first person to come at me hard, like I'm coming like, and you're not gonna be standing at the end of this. And so that really was a great experience for me, humbled me, and went right back to work.
Even on a sprained MCL.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I did that all the time. Like my knees and stuff were taped all the time. Like I sprained my MCL, LCL like every other week. It was crazy. It was frustrating. That's
Yeah.
like because I had injuries definitely slowed me down a lot in college. Like that's why I only had like 15 matches my sophomore year. Freaking in the MAC finals, as time expired in the MAC finals my junior year, I sprained my ankle and sprained my Achilles. Like when he fell, I had a boot in, and my foot
Yeah.
just twisted the complete opposite way. So like the only wrestling I did, like Austin Reese is my drill partner at nationals. I'll never forget. The only way we could drill is I would be on my hands and knees, and he would get on his hand, and we would hand fight.
Uh-huh.
So like until I wrestled, that was the only time I wrestled, and then I tore my ACL first round at nationals my senior year. So
Really?
unfortunately, yeah. So I mean, it you know, college wrestling's hard, man. It's hard to keep your, you know. So when it's all said and done, like I'll get so mad. I never won a title. I never made the finals. But it's like, with you never hear about that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's like for what I endured, my body went through, and the things I was able to push through, I'm pretty dang proud of what I was able to do.
Yeah. That's why I like
Yeah,
to do this.
yeah, yeah. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, because on top of those things, two-time All-American, you were a three-time captain, a 3-year captain with
Yeah,
some of those
and
guys that you just listed. Jeremy Johnson, Phil Wellington, Sparty, Chino, um,
Andrew the man check.
Hightower.
Yeah,
I'm missing some guys there,
yeah,
obviously, but you were a 3-year captain. So as a sophomore, did that mean a lot to you to be a captain that many years?
yeah. It was an honor, but like kudos to Jeremy Johnson because he was a leader by example. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong, he would speak and be outspoken, but he that dude never was out of. I'll be generous. I'll be modest and say out of the top 10, but part of me wants to say top 5 in runs as a heavyweight. But he wasn't no athlete. He wasn't no like God-given like body shape, all that, but he worked so hard. And it's like when you see that kid doing that every day and what he was able to accomplish, it's like, well, you just got to do that, and you can be good. So it's like, so being a captain along with Jeremy, and then like you named some of those guys, it was an honor because we were a very tight crew. Like we were a very good team together. We held each other accountable for the good and the bad. Like when some of us did good, like we were the first ones to cheer and slap hands. And when one of us messed up and did something wrong or mispractice, we held each other accountable, called each other out. I mean, we had a very good system.
Did you feel a sense of, or like, did you have like a chip on your shoulder, this group, and you guys almost as a university and as a program that like, when you go places, and people see, oh, Ohio University, they don't really think twice about it because it's, it's not that upper echelon. You're not a Power Five school per se or Power Four school, whatever it is nowadays. You're
Yeah.
from the MAC. Like, there's a stereotype, if you will, that they're just not the
Oh yeah.
programs like these other
Yeah.
ones. Did you feel like that or?
Oh, absolutely. Like, so anytime I wrestled a Big Ten guy or a Big 12, whatever it was, like Ohio State, like if I wrestled a guy from there, I was like, you were definitely recruited over me. Like, I'm gonna remind him like why you should have got me in there. Like, every time we wrestled a school like that, and like I think my junior year we were ranked 16th as a team, and then my senior year we were ranked 23rd. So like we went out those last 2 years as a top 25 program, which was awesome, But I think it's because we had guys like that. I think it's because we were like we had those chips, we had those desires to, we wanted the attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always dreamed of being on the headline of Flow, like Walters is whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like and to be honest, like I felt disrespected a lot. Like all of us did a couple times. Like I'll never forget in the MAC finals my sophomore year, Ryan Bader called me Billy Curling, like when I got a takedown. I'm like, how do you not like you would never mess up David Taylor? You know what I'm saying? Like, but
Yeah.
that's just things like like kind of like the Michael Jordan, like I took it personal, yeah. So every time we got a chance to wrestle those type of guys, I think it was more meaningful to wrestle them than someone you didn't know. If that makes
Mhm.
sense. Like we got way more juice for those instead of because we wanted to prove you know because like especially with like recruiting and all that, especially back then, not much so much now, but like we always heard like, oh, OU's a party school and blah blah blah, and I'm like, no, they're not, like no more than any other school. Like we go,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, well, you can go to wherever you want to go and you'll find kids doing that. But like Joel and Coach Hansen and Jermaine and Quincy Osborne and Colt, like all of these great coaches we had, like they had a vision for us and we followed that vision and we all had a belief that we can be great and we all wanted that. That's why my junior year we had four in the well, one loss in the round of 16. We had three in the round of 12. Like we had a very good squad. And I think it's because of that. I think that chip and that desire to be great and be noticed on a national level was so high for us.
Yeah. Yeah. And you went out, very successful, put your
Mm-hmm.
name on the board. It's up there,
Mm-hmm.
for Ohio University as a Bobcat. I mean, looking back, is it more prideful now than it was at the time to look back and see all that you've done for Ohio?
Um, Absolutely. It's more of a, I just like one thing I can't believe it was that long ago now. You know what I'm
Right?
saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
man, it's like, oh my goodness, man, like it's coming up on 10 years next year. Like that's scary to me, but I couldn't have done it, without obviously Coach Greenlee and Coach Hansen and Colt, and like those were some great leaders. And obviously my teammates had the best roommates, like Taiwan Claxton, if you know him. He
Yes.
was,
Yes,
yeah,
he's
he
one guy
was,
I forgot to mention earlier. Yes.
he was a rock, man. He was just had the best attitude. And Sparty, Romo, Harrison, Miles, like those guys are my roommates. We had to, like we're not all as close right now, like with time and kids and families and all that stuff. But in that moment, we looking back on it, we had such a good rock and belief system, um, that was good as that any relationship that pushed me to be great. And so when I look back on it, and like I said, with dealing with those injuries, and then that mental aspect of putting all that pressure, like, hey, I want to be great, I want to do this, I want to do that, and yeah, I look back and but don't get me wrong, like I'll to this day, man, I'll hear a song on the radio when I'm driving in. I'm like, man, this would have been a cool walkout song in the finals, and then I'll go down memory lane of being ticked off. I never made the finals, I never had a chance, but it's like, there's a lot of greats that never made the finals and never won it, never even placed, or so. So yeah, it's a double-edged sword. Like, I'm very
Right.
proud, but I always wish I could have done more.
Yeah, for sure. That's the life of a wrestler.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely. Right.
Before I let you go, the one match I kind of want to ask you about specifically was your blood round your senior year. I mean, this was it. I know you didn't get the national title, but you're on the backside, and you know, um, the evolution of your wrestling was you won it in overtime on a takedown. I mean, we didn't go to ride outs. You didn't have to wrap him up on top or put the boots in. No, you got a takedown. I mean,
Yeah,
what was that moment like, if you can recall that specific
it was
moment?
because Blaze beat me in the MAC semis. I was going for my fourth, and he beat me going for my fourth, and he beat me in the duel. So I was 0-2 against him. And when I lost in the quarters to a kid I already majored that year, I sprinted back to the hotel. I was so mad. And I called my buddy, who's a Matt Stat, just knows everything. I was like, who do I have? And he's like, he's like, do you want me to tell you? And the way he said it, I was like, who do I have? And he's like, Blaze. And I remember screaming, F-U-C-K, as loud as I could. And I slammed my phone on the ground. And, I just had, because I knew my knee was hurt bad, and I was like, God dang it, like, I haven't beat this kid yet. Like, I was so frustrated, and I actually had a bad attitude, and it reminded me of like my sophomore year when I was like, man, like, what a dummy, I can't believe I ruined this. And then I was sitting next to Joel, like, before the round of 12 in that dog bone, and I saw Blaze and his teammates, and they were all just giggling and laughing and like having fun. And I have no idea, but I got so mad. I took it so personal. I was like, what do you like? And knowing Blaze now, because like we've talked after, and he is so nice and such a genuine person, and like so kind. But in my head, I looked at Joe. I was like, he's making fun of me. He's making fun of me. Yeah. He knows he's gonna win. And he was like, I think he is. I think he is. Like, he was like feeding into us. This dude, no fucking way. He ain't beating me. He's not beating me. And I just remember wrestling as hard as I could, and he actually shot in overtime, and he always shot like sweep singles and got up to, because I was very funky, and he'd always try to get to his feet. But that time I was able to throw him to the mat, and I started a scramble, and I knew when I started that scramble, I was like, you better score now or never, buddy, because I don't think I'll get this chance again. And I was able to convert on the takedown. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was a surreal moment. And I talked about my teammates. Like, I saw, like, in the front row was like my roommates were all in the front row, and they were, they just had their dreams crushed. You know what I'm saying? Like, they had goals of being on the podium. Like, Sparty was around a 12 the year before. Romo was a qualifier. Like, Phil, like, all these guys, and they were just. And it was like those moments I remember where I'll cherish forever, and I'm so grateful that I was able to convert, get it done, and it took a lot of people to help me get there, for sure.
Yeah, and also a little bit of like the pride of Ohio, your pride with the state of Ohio, but at the same thing, the last thing I'll say is just also taking out a Missouri kid, because I felt like there were moments now that Missouri's not in the MAC anymore, but that they were almost too good for the MAC, that they were better.
Oh yeah, we were always fighting for second, it seemed.
Yeah,
like my senior, we had a very close duel with them, and like we had some nail biters. We almost won, but they were just, it was Missouri and then everyone battling, because like you and I wasn't like what they are. Like, you and I was good. They were tough. They had some really good guys, but they weren't you and I have right. Like you and I different right now. Like
Yeah.
Dominion was very good. They had their good guys, but it was because I remember when we went to Dual, Missouri. Comparing their facilities to ours, I was like, "What is this? Like they have a field house?" I was like, "What the heck?" So it was like I was like, "How are they in the MAC?" So yeah, it was to go against the Blaze, and especially being down 0-2 against them that year and battling through an ACL tear, and like it was all cool, man. Especially I have an All-American in so long. I was like, man,
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah,
Go out that way, and now you're back. Now you're
yeah,
back home
oh
in
yeah,
Athens.
yeah.
What's it been like to be on the coaching side now at at Ohio University?
Man, it's been surreal, man. It's
Yeah.
so cool to, especially like, because for a long time I was the last All American, um, and then our other assistant Shakur Laney, he won the Max the year after me, but he was the last MAC champ. So, and then like last year we had two in the MAC finals. Peyton Keller got it done, took fifth. So to see someone, get to the podium finish in that singlet, like I have people ask me all the time. They're like, do you want do you get salty like your name's not last anymore or something like the last questions like that, or it's like I pray my name is nothing but a distant memory. Like I hope on those boards you have to look, miles to see it.
Right.
Like I get so much more amped for these kids to accomplish their dreams and goals and than I ever did for myself. It's because a part of someone's history and life. So it's as a coach, it's been surreal for the colors I love and I rep and that I've been a part of for 14 years now. It's so cool to see that.
Yeah, and the one that's really caught some eyes now is Garrett
Yeah,
Thompson. You
Garrett's a
know.
beast. Yeah, that's what my cousin texted me the other day. He said because they did an article on Garrett and he's like death, taxes, and a stud 74-pounder. And I was like, nah, Garrett would have killed me. He's a beast. Garrett's he's a special player. Like Garrett never qualified for the state tournament, out of high school. So like for him to become what he has, and what he's created himself into from a non-qualifier, definitely not recruited by anyone, to top 6 in the country right now. Like what a stud. And we have a lot of those guys, man. We have a
Right.
lot of guys that have chips on their shoulders that this year and next year they're gonna be coming for it. So I'm excited where this team's at. Like, and I think we got a lot of great guys that have great goals and can accomplish them.
You think Garrett would get out from underneath you though?
The competitor in me likes to think not, man. But Garrett's a beast, man. I know this. I can hardly get away from him when we
Yeah.
wrestle, but we always because like when I ride him in practice, like because he's PA kid, I'm Ohio, so I'm like, you gotta give Ohio some props for riding right now. He's like, for an Ohio kid, you're good, because we always have that war battle. So, but Garrett's a beast, man. He works so hard, and he's tough on the mat too. So I like to think I would have rode him, but you never know.
Yeah. And then the last one I'll mention here is your 84 pounder.
Jeremy Olsko.
Yeah, he's
Oh
starting to
yeah.
come around too and turn some heads. I think he's creeping into the rankings and only a freshman. I mean, so there's a lot of to look forward to if you're an Ohio Bobcat
Yeah.
wrestling
Well,
fan.
Jeremy was supposed to be our 74, and then Garrett decided to go 74. So, Garrett's special. So he
Mhm.
ended up making the move up to 8, and Jeremy just works. So everything he has created himself. He's just wise beyond his years, and he is too stingy to not be good. Like he just wants it so bad, and he has a big mouth too, so he has to back it up somehow, some way. Like he's a kid the other day. He told me, or he said it. He's like, I would have rode you out the entire period. I'm like, no, but he believes it, man, and that's part of why he's good. He believes he's that good, so he's got a little bit of that Taiwan Claxton. I'm like, I don't think Taiwan was that good, but he believed he was the best in the country. So that's what,
Yeah.
Jeremy's everything he's created with his work. So it's awesome to see him getting some recognition and coming to himself. The second half.
Yeah, and good to see Ohio wrestling back.
Yeah.
Like you said, it kind of took a few years where they had a little bit, maybe some lumps or some down years,
Yeah.
but it seems like the trajectory is moving in the right direction.
Absolutely.
So,
And Jeremy's actually my dad's wrestler, so that's pretty cool too. He went to my
really,
dad's high school. Yeah. That
well,
makes it even cooler for me.
yeah. What are
Yeah.
you benching nowadays? Are you still working out like a
Nothing,
crazy
man.
man?
Like,
Nothing?
no, my shoulder's too bad to lift. So I was really into it at Gardner-Webb in West Virginia when I coached there, but
Yeah.
I tore my labrum at the U.S. Open the last time I competed first round, and then ever since then, like even doing push-ups is miserable. You know what I'm saying? So it's like now I work out, but I wrestle every day. So
You do?
yeah, every day. Yeah, it's very rare when I don't wrestle.
Really?
Yeah, that makes me feel my youth still, but except in the mornings when I'm trying to get out of bed and it takes me 20 minutes to fully stand up straight and take my first steps. But yeah, I wrestle every day. I got to keep my edge. And then like Zane Lehman's coming back. He keeps telling me he's going to beat the crap out of me. So I can't be out of shape when he gets back. So I got to make sure I'm prepared and ready for that horse.
Thanks again for listening to this episode of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. Special thanks to my guest, assistant coach Cody Walters, for taking the time to sit down and chat with me. Cover art created and designed by Kristen Gill. Please feel free to rate, comment, and subscribe to this podcast. You can check me out on Twitter, Instagram, and my Facebook page to hear more of my content. And don't forget, check out my website at letstalkwrestlingpodcast.my.canva.site. And as always, be sure to tune in to hear the next guest of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. Take care. See you next time.